So like, hopefully you guys aren't trying to get too freaky in that country that you're planning on traveling to or living in, because that might not work out for you.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel where we eat foreign food and talk about overseas lifestyle. Here I have Yucy, and we have some amazing food. So Yucy, can you please tell us what food do we have here?
Yeah, sure. We got a lot of food here. We got duck, and we got some Sichuan beans, and it's fried cabbages, and also some chicken.
Oh, so here we got duck and we got beef. Babe, if you're ready, let's get started eating.
Yeah, let's get started.
Yeah. Grab some of that duck.
You said you're gonna grab some duck, but you grab some gambias.
Oh yeah. Grab some duck. Okay, so for today's topic, some guys have been wondering, like, can I be successful overseas? And it's kind of an interesting question because there are some people who believe that you can be successful wherever you are. Like, it doesn't matter where on the planet you are, you can be successful. Then there are some people who believe, maybe that's not 100% true. Like, so guys want to know, like, when I come overseas, like, can I be successful? Like, when I go to this new country, am I going to be able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish? Guys are wondering that. And I want you guys out there who are watching this to accomplish the things you're looking for. I don't want you to go to your deathbed having regrets about things you didn't accomplish. So, babe, let me ask you, what do you think? Like, does it matter where you are? Can you always be successful, or what do you think?
I think it still depends. It depends on the country. If it let you do things that you want.
Yeah.
So maybe in some countries they have some restrictions that can limit your success.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. Like, there are some countries where you can do pretty much what you want and you don't have to worry about anything. And then there are some countries where you kind of have to be careful. Like, you don't want to kind of offend the people in that country, because if you're doing things that the people in that country think is unacceptable, that might get you in trouble. So yeah, like, there are guys wondering, like, so can I be successful when I go overseas? Or like, is it all, like, does it matter at all what country I'm in? Just as a quick example, there are a lot of guys in the States who have a difficulty finding like a stable, like, long-term girlfriend or like a high-quality wife, maybe someone, you know, that they can travel with. It seems very difficult for guys to find that in the States. But in Asia, it seems somewhat easy for guys to find, like, kind of a high-quality girlfriend that they can, you know, build a long-term relationship with. So that's a quick example off the top of my head of something that someone might say, hey, you know, in other countries, it could be easier than where I come from.
Babe, I had a great time during our Chongqing vacation. I remember all the photos and videos we took. You look so fresh and well groomed. How did you do it?
Yeah, that's a great question, babe. You know, whenever we're traveling, I gotta bring my TravaLux toiletry bag. It holds all the essential items I need to stay looking and smelling my best while we're out there traveling the world. And it's available for pre-order right now. So you guys go to luxologylifestyle.com, go get the bag. This way you can stay looking and smelling fresh wherever you go, all around the world.
Yeah.
So go get the bag, guys.
Yeah, go get the bag.
Yeah. So, like, on the one hand, there are people who think that it doesn't matter where you are, you can always be successful. And then there are other people who kind of think your location definitely matters. There are some places that are just more conducive to success than others. And I'm kind of in that second group. Like, I used to believe that everything was possible no matter where you are. But after living in different countries, I kind of see, like, there's some things that are way easier in one country than another country. So, babe, like, what are some different areas that you think that people might care about to be successful in?
Yeah, so first of all, definitely career. That's very important. You gotta make money from that, right?
Yeah.
And the second one, I think, is relationship. And the third one, I think, is health. Your health is also very important.
Yeah. So you got relationships, health, you know, your career. These things are kind of like basic human needs that everyone cares about. For a lot of the guys watching this, you care about, like, having good relationships, probably trying to make some money, and freedom to, like, you know, do and say what you want. Because a lot of Americans, we really care about freedom. And I know a fourth one in terms of health is just like staying alive. Like for me, that's pretty important. Like you want to kind of preserve your existence and make sure the place that you're in, you're not at risk of just randomly dying. So that's pretty important. So for example, like Bali, Indonesia, like if you're a person who like works on your computer or you're like a remote worker, staying in a country like Bali, Indonesia, remote workers seem to really like Bali because, it has pretty fast internet and the cost of living isn't too high. So a lot of people who work from their computer, like if you're the type of person who wants to work from your computer, Indonesia, Bali might be the place for you.
Yeah. And also Thailand.
Oh yeah, Thailand. Thailand's also good. Like, Thailand, they offer like a pretty great lifestyle for people at a low cost of living. So if you want to live a great life for low cost, those countries will probably be way more better for you than somewhere expensive like New York where, people are struggling just to pay rent.
Yeah. Chengdu here is also good.
Yeah, Chengdu is a great city. Like I really love Chengdu. Like I tell people, like I was in a video conversation with some people, and they were talking about how Thailand you needed like $1,500 a month just to like to basically have a pretty good life. But I feel like in Chengdu you can live pretty good just on like $800 a month. As long as you're not like popping bottles every night, you can live pretty well in this city that we're in. I love living in China. Like I've been here for like almost 8 years. And like for me, living in China has given me many, many benefits. I've been able to do so much here that I don't think I would have been able to do in other countries. And with that said, like there are limitations to what you can do in China, but like I haven't really encountered many of those limitations. So like let me ask you, like as a Chinese girl, like what limits do you feel like you kind of have to be careful about in China? Like what are some things that you just need to be, you don't want to, you might meet limitations if you try to do something.
Okay, so first of all, you can't say certain things on the internet. And also, people here are a little bit conservative. Yeah.
Yeah, so people are kind of conservative. You got to be careful about what you say on the internet. Yeah, so like for guys who are like looking to come to China or even any other country and you're looking to do something kind of wild and maybe a little bit X-rated, you got to be aware of like the societal restrictions that you're going to meet. Because there's outside of America, a lot of countries are kind of conservative. They don't want people like doing and saying crazy things or like things that they consider to be crazy. So like if you're trying to do something X-rated or something a little out of the box, you just need to be aware that you might meet some kind of restrictions in the country that you're going to.
Yeah.
So for me, China's been really amazing because, I have a great job, I have a super amazing girlfriend, I have lots of free time to do what I want. So for me, living in China has been really great. But I know for some people, it can be kind of, it's not 100%, doesn't fit with like what they're looking for because what they're trying to do just isn't acceptable over here. Yeah, like so for me, I don't really do anything too crazy. So China's been really amazing for me. Like my life is fairly conservative. But I know for some guys, if you're trying to do like, kind of wild, crazy stuff on the internet or something that's kind of out of the box, you might need to be careful in some of the countries you're going to because a lot of these countries, like, if they're like a really strict like Muslim country and you're trying to do X-rated stuff, you could probably get arrested for that. So you just need to be aware of like the societal norms and like the customs of the country you're in. So like hopefully you guys aren't trying to get too freaky in that country that you're planning on traveling to or living in because that might not work out for you.
Yeah.
So like for me, I felt like my ability to be successful was just higher overseas than in America, and specifically in China. Like I lived in South Korea before I came to China. And like South Korea is great. Like South Korea is like an amazing country to visit and some guys really love living there. But like I always felt like South Korea, they kind of have like the restrictions on like what people can do, what foreigners can do in that country. Like South Korea is like very similar to Japan in that outside of English teaching and maybe there's not really much you can do. Maybe acting, you can do acting, but like I never really met many foreigners in South Korea who were doing business and making really big moves. It just takes like a lot of money to do business in a country like South Korea. But like in China, there's people doing business and like you don't need a ton of money to start a business in China, and you can, start making revenue pretty easily. So, that's just a big difference. Like if you want to start your own business in that country where you're serving the local people, you got to look at, okay, how difficult will it be for me to kind of get set up in that kind of situation?
What's your favorite?
I think the duck is really good, but all these dishes are really good. It's just like the best food we've ever ordered. Maybe this is the best food we've ever eaten.
Really?
I mean, the best food we've ever eaten on camera, I'll say. The best Chinese food. So yeah, like, you guys just need to know that for some countries, it'll be more difficult for you to get involved in anything that's like non-traditional. Like if you're trying to do something that's kind of out of the box that other foreigners in that country haven't done before, in some countries it'll be more difficult than others.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what do you think about, in terms of like things that guys care about, like, okay, safety is a big one. So what do you think about safety?
Yeah, I think safety is very important, and definitely some countries are way safer than other countries. Like Danny always tells me that some countries, like a lot of countries, are way safer than America.
Yeah.
And also, I think you gotta stay away from those countries are in wars. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're trying to live a safe, peaceful life, being in like a country that's in the middle of like a war is a bad idea. So in terms of safety, that shows you right there that some countries will be better for you than others. And like, okay, like in terms of like dating, you know, it seems like in America you need like a PhD in psychology just to get a date. But like
Really?
in other countries, it's like, you know, it's not that as complicated as in the States. So like your dating life would probably be a lot simpler outside of America. And if you're living in other countries, specifically Asia, I think Asia is a great place, you know, to find long-term relationships. You know, I think you'll have a much better time over here. So if I was going to give you guys like a 3-point blueprint for how you can increase your chances of success in another country, for number one, I would say make sure you know the laws and customs of the country that you're planning on going to. So like, babe, what can people do to find out the laws and customs of a country that they want to live in or travel to?
I think you can check the website of the government. Yeah, and sometimes they also release some news about the new laws, and you can also check on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like basically you're saying like check out the government website for that country and then like maybe like follow the news for that country.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for most countries, like they have kind of a government website that you can kind of click on, and they have like a lot of stuff just letting you know about the laws of that country and what you need to know when you go there. And so for some countries, you know, if you're trying to get too wild and crazy, that's not going to work out and you might end up getting arrested. So doing a little bit of research beforehand, when you get there, you're not going to get caught slipping. So just try to do your research and just be respectful of that country, whatever country you're going to.
Yeah.
So for number two, I would say find other people who have been successful doing what you want to do in that country. So for example, like a lot of these countries, these developed countries, they kind of have like a network of foreigners there who are doing business. They're doing something there that you could probably learn from them. So if you can find and get connected with those groups of people, like befriend them, hang out with those guys, that can really help you just find out like, hey, can I be successful in this country doing what I want to do?
Yeah.
That's really important. If you can't find at least one other person in that country who's doing what you want to do, it might be a sign that, you know, maybe
That's good.
Yeah, like the thing that you want to do just might not be possible in that country. So you kind of want to have a network of people, of friends that you can kind of consult and who they have more experience than you do.
Yeah. Your friend zone is very important.
Yeah, like the people you keep in your friend circle is just super important. So for me, like when I first came to China, I wanted to be a painter. I was like painting every day. I came overseas kind of specifically for that purpose. I just wanted to like pursue art and make it my career. But now, like after I befriended a few guys in China, like foreigners who were like artists and who were doing art, I saw how their lifestyle was, and I saw all the stuff they had to go through just to sell artwork. And I kind of realized like, you know, hey, it didn't really fit me. Like this career path as being an artist in China, you know, is way more work than I want to do. And even when I do the work, the lifestyle that I'm gonna have just is not ideal for me. So after seeing that, I kind of changed paths. But I only realized that after I hung out with people who were successful or kind of successful doing what I wanted to do. And I just saw like, hey, their lifestyle, not really what I want. So babe, like for a foreigner in a new country, where are some places they can go to meet other foreigners who might be able to help them with like their career and their life goals?
If you're in a big city, I think it should be easy to find some networking events. Or you can go to some clubs or bars.
Oh yeah. That's a big one. Like, okay, like nightclubs and bars. A lot of my friends that I've met, like who I hang out with over the years, like I just bumped into them randomly at a bar and like we just became friends, That's really a great place. Like foreigners are always at the bar. So like you can always make really good friends if you just go out to the nightclub. Like you can always befriend guys like, hey man, let me buy you a drink, man. What are you doing here in this city? And you just network that way. Like, you can do formal networking events and you can also just like, go hang out and
casual ones.
just casual, like make friends.
Yeah.
And you never know where it can lead to. And specifically for the guys from the Facebook groups, like there's probably at least one person in the Facebook group that you're in, like the travel Facebook group. You can find at least one person who they have done or they're somewhere where you want to be and you can kind of learn from them. I think that's really a big blessing with the internet. We can kind of get connected with other people really easily. And for number 3, I say number 3 is super important. And that's just take action daily. Like when you're planning on going overseas or when you're already overseas, just take daily action towards what you want to accomplish. This is really big because you can accomplish a lot in a step-by-step process. Like there are some guys who they look at like what they're trying to accomplish and maybe they get kind of like depressed or they're like, oh, how am I going to do this? Like it's going to take so long. But really, you might be surprised what you can accomplish in 3 months or 6 months if you're taking daily action, guys. Like you really might surprise yourself. So when you're looking at what you want to accomplish overseas, you got to think about how can I break this down into a step-by-step process that I can take daily action on.
Yeah, I think it's just important to keep it constant.
Yeah, keep it constant, keep it consistent. And eventually like you might surprise yourself like, wow, like I was able to get this thing accomplished like in just a few months. So like the barriers to like living and moving to a new country, it might be kind of high depending on the country that you're in. So like a lot of guys, they hit me up asking me about China, and after I tell them about kind of the work that's involved to get set up in a country like China, I know a lot of guys kind of get deterred. They're like, oh man, like I gotta set up a visa, I gotta learn the language, I gotta find a job, I gotta look for an apartment. A lot of guys, they just aren't willing to put in the work to get set up in the country that they want to go to, even though their life would be way better if they were in that country. So they might end up like they just might stay where they are, or they might just choose a less good country that's not really suitable for their goals just because it's easier. And this isn't just for China, guys. This is pretty much for every country that you can think of that's worth going to. It might not be a super easy transition. It might take some, you might need to learn some skills or something, or try to develop yourself to really get the full advantages that country offers.
Yeah, and it's really the most difficult at first, and then you'll get more used to it, and you'll learn a lot of stuff. Yeah, and it's gonna be easier and easier.
Yeah, like when I look at how my life was when I first went overseas and kind of the difficulties, but I look at where it got me, I'm like, hey, it was definitely worth it. Like it wasn't always easy at times. It was kind of difficult at some points, but I'm really happy I did that. I'm really happy I didn't give up. I was telling my girl the other day, like, a lot of Americans don't even realize like the privileges that they have to accomplish what they want. And like if they just took daily action, they could get so much. But like a lot of people just aren't going to put in the effort,
Yeah, you just need to put in the effort.
Yeah, like you put in the effort and like there's so much you can accomplish. Just take daily action and you just surprise yourself. Like you really might be surprised, guys, by how much you can get done in just a few months. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, and I'm really happy you guys joined us. Like I know a lot of guys been wondering about this. I really want to see you guys be successful overseas. So I really want you to just, think about some of the things we talked about, see if you can apply it for your life. And yeah, like, I really want to see you guys be successful overseas. So yeah, just take the action. Take action and do it, and
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
If you like this video, please subscribe and give us a like.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. You guys go out there and get it. TravaLux toiletry bag. Luxologylifestyle.com. Go to the website, pre-order it. We're gonna be mailing these things out soon. I want to see you guys traveling the world, staying looking your best. Cause you know, looking your best is super important. You gotta stay fresh. You know, you gotta stay looking good. Whenever you're out there, we're gonna make sure you guys show your best self. So, TravaLux toiletry bag. Go pre-order the bag, guys.
Yeah, guys, go get the bag.
Yeah.